The self-storage industry generates more revenue every year than Hollywood. It survives recessions. It survives housing crashes. It survived a global pandemic. And some facilities run with almost no employees at all. So how did storing other people's junk become a $100 billion business? And why do some of the smartest investors in America call it the closest thing to passive income in commercial real estate? Today, we are breaking this story down into 4 parts. Part 1. How self-storage was accidentally invented. Part 2. Why Americans became completely addicted to renting extra space. Part 3. The business model that makes it so extraordinarily profitable. And Part 4. What every entrepreneur can learn from the most boring industry in America. Let's get into it. Part 1. The accidental invention. Here is a question most people have never thought to ask. How do you build a $100 billion business? In this case, it starts not with a brilliant idea or a Silicon Valley pitch deck. It starts with a very simple problem. People were running out of room. The modern self-storage industry traces its roots back to the 1960s, as Americans moved into the suburbs and accumulated more possessions than any generation in history. They ran into something nobody had planned for. They had too much stuff. At first, people crammed things into garages and basements and attics, but eventually those filled up too. And a handful of entrepreneurs spotted something hiding inside that problem. There was money in renting space itself, not products, not services. Just empty space. Demand exploded. By the 1980s, storage facilities were appearing across America. By the 1990s, they were everywhere. What started as a niche solution to suburban clutter had become a permanent fixture of American life. And most people never stopped to ask why. Part 2. Why Americans keep paying. Here is something the self-storage industry understood early. People don't rent storage because they want more space. They rent it because life gets complicated. Think about the biggest transitions most people go through: moving, divorce, marriage, downsizing, losing a parent and inheriting their belongings, deployment, job, relocation. Every single one of those moments creates uncertainty, and storage becomes the bridge between where you are and where you are going. The industry has a name for it. They call it the 4 Ds: death, divorce, dislocation, downsizing. 4 life events that reliably drive people through the doors of a storage facility. But there is a 5th factor. Nobody talks about publicly: consumerism. Americans simply own more things than any previous generation. Bigger homes than their grandparents, more clothes, more furniture, more electronics, and still not enough room. Today, millions of households rent storage units they visit maybe once or twice a year, paying monthly for items they rarely use and sometimes barely remember owning. You might be wondering, why do they keep paying? That question is the entire key to understanding why this business prints money so consistently. Part 3. The business model. Most people who drive past a storage facility think the same thing. What a boring business. And they are right. It is completely boring. But boring is exactly what makes it so profitable. Think about running a traditional rental property. Tenants, maintenance requests, plumbing problems, broken appliances, noise complaints, evictions, an endless stream of headaches eating into your time and margins. Now compare that to a storage facility. No toilets, no kitchens, no showers, nobody living inside, no utilities consumed by the tenant, no complaints about noisy neighbors. Customers bring their own stuff, lock their own unit. And in modern facilities, they never interact with a single employee. They rent online, sign digitally, access units through a mobile app, and pay automatically every single month. The result is some of the lowest operating costs in commercial real estate, combined with some of the highest profit margins anywhere in the business world. But here is the part most people completely miss. Once someone fills a storage unit, moving everything out becomes a genuine hassle. You need a truck, help, time, a full weekend minimum. So customers do the easy thing. They keep paying, month after month, year after year, sometimes for an entire decade. Many people end up spending far more storing their belongings than those belongings are actually worth. And no company understood this better than Public Storage. Founded in 1972 with one simple idea: build facilities, rent the space, repeat. What the founders grasped that most people missed was a subtle distinction. They were not renting square footage. They were renting convenience, peace of mind. The ability to move on with your life while your belongings waited safely behind a locked orange door. That distinction shaped everything. Public Storage expanded aggressively for decades, city after city, state after state. Their orange doors became as recognizable as McDonald's arches in American strip malls. And unlike a restaurant, each location needed very few employees. As technology improved, operations became even more automated. Revenue grew. Margins stayed strong. But the most impressive part is what happened during downturns. When recessions hit, most businesses see demand fall. Self-storage often sees the opposite. Recessions cause people to move, downsize, relocate, go through financially driven divorces. In other words, recessions create exactly the life disruptions that drive people to storage facilities. During the 2008 financial crisis, while banks were failing, Public Storage stayed profitable. During COVID, while industries shut down, self-storage demand actually increased. The model was not just profitable, it was almost recession-proof. Part 4. The lesson. The most fascinating part of this story is not the billion-dollar corporations. It is the ordinary people. Across America, entrepreneurs discovered you did not need thousands of units to build something meaningful. A single, well-located facility could generate significant monthly cash flow with minimal staff and predictable recurring revenue. Customers who moved in tended to stay, not because they loved the facility, but because leaving required effort. And most people prefer to keep paying over doing the work of moving out. This is what investors call a boring business. No viral moments, no celebrity endorsements, no exciting headlines, just an empty metal box, a padlock, and a monthly payment that arrives like clockwork. The kind of business that never makes the news but quietly generates wealth for decades while everyone else chases the next big thing. The biggest lesson from self-storage has nothing to do with real estate. It has everything to do with human behavior. The industry does not sell square footage. It sells convenience, flexibility, and peace of mind during the moments in life when people feel most overwhelmed. That is why a plain metal box generates $100 billion per year, while flashy businesses with famous founders and massive marketing budgets come and go. Self-storage just keeps collecting rent, month after month, year after year, recession after recession, quietly, reliably, profitably, hiding in plain sight behind an orange door on the edge of every town in America. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to Brand Autopsy. Every week, we uncover the hidden business models and corporate stories most people never stop to notice. Because sometimes, the most boring businesses are the most fascinating ones of all.